Hi there, I'm Greg Salyer. It's nice to meet you. This is just a brief introduction to me so you can know me a little better. I was born in the hills of East Tennessee, among the Appalachian Mountains, and it was a great place to grow up, a great place to explore mountains, rivers, lakes, and to be a boy. In fact, I stayed there for my undergraduate education, attending the regional college, or university, I should say, and majoring in, of all things, engineering. I actually thought I wanted to be an audio engineer. Well, calculus talked me out of that very quickly, and it remains the worst grade I've ever made after high school. And I believe it was a C, and I know it was a gift. So halfway through my engineering degree, I decided to do something I thought more enjoyable and easier for me, and that was philosophy. And to do that, I transferred to a small liberal arts college, again in East Tennessee, where I majored in philosophy and religion. I graduated from there and continued my studies at Western Kentucky University, where I continued to major in philosophy and religion. But as this was a graduate program, I was able to focus a bit more, and my focus was biblical studies. I found the Bible to be fascinating, and I wanted to know more about it. What I found out was that there are a variety of approaches to studying the Bible that unlock it in many ways. One of these was literary criticism of the Bible. This was a radically new approach when I was there, and I found it just so fascinating that I focused my master's thesis on it, literary criticism of the Bible, and I began my doctoral studies thinking that I would continue that, reading the Bible as literature and writing about it. In fact, what actually happened is my interest became so literary that I reversed those positions and began studying literature, especially contemporary literature and postmodern literature, in light of religion. That is, religion in general, not a particular religion. So ideas of the sacred, myth, ritual, etc., as they appear in modern and contemporary literature. Well, I was fortunate to get a job at a small liberal arts college in Montgomery, Alabama, and I was hired into the philosophy and religion department. So I taught philosophy and religion, but I used literature. Eventually, I moved to the literary studies department to chair it. So I was a philosopher and religious studies person, and suddenly I was chair of the English department and teaching all those courses. It was a great experience as I got to teach things like world religions and British literature survey, and I got to create some pretty interesting courses that blended the two. After that experience, I moved to Farmville, Virginia to teach at Longwood University. Farmville is exactly what it sounds like. It's a very small city, town, with a university in it. And there I directed the composition program. After Longwood, I moved to what may be considered the opposite of Farmville, and that is Boston, where I taught at Boston University. In fact, what I did at Boston University, you may find interesting because I developed their online undergraduate degree completion program. So it was a program for students just like you. It was a great challenge and a great reward for me, as we had no courses on the books, and when I left, we had 20 courses taught by physicists, musicians, literary critics, artists, philosophers, etc. From Boston, I decided to move to California and direct an alternative living learning center at the University of Redlands. This was a center that was founded in 1969, and in many ways was still in 1969. There were no grades. There was no curriculum. Everything was done through consensus, whether it was to buy a new stapler or to offer a degree. Everyone had to agree. If there was any negative response, we had to keep working. That was an interesting experience. And after that, I decided that it was time to retire early and do the traveling that I'd always wanted to do. So I was able to do that. I lived in a tent for a few months. I wrote and got that out of my system. And now I have landed here in Los Angeles, where, as you can see, I no longer live in a tent. And I have come back to education, this time through online learning. And I'm really happy for that, because I find new challenges and new rewards here teaching online. And I enjoy it very much and look forward to working with you. Thank you for your attention.